Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, our Habs postgame show here on Langer at the Mic Live. And unfortunately, the Montreal Canadiens in this one, they lose 5-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 2 of the first round of the North Division quarterfinals, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this game was frustrating. This was frustrating because the Habs scored the first goal before the puck even dropped. There was a lot of talk about Kotkaniemi getting his first playoff appearance with Jake Evans being injured. And obviously, look, you know what? Also, before we get into anything about the game, thank God, just want to continue to give my best wishes to John Tavares and just reiterate the great news from this morning that he had no structural damage to his spine, to his head or neck or anything like that. Although he did suffer a knee injury as well, likely because of what I described in my post-game show on Thursday with him falling back because that first athletic therapist on the scene for some reason allowed him to stand up. And there's I think Dr. Shooter or something on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel of covering a bunch of sports injuries, like severe sports injuries. And I watched his video or his takes on the Tavares injury, but he commended the Leafs medical staff and John Tavares. They put Nick Foligno at the second line center, and the Habs in the first period, they were good in the first period. They had the Leafs on their heels, especially with Kotkaniemi getting his 5th career playoff goal in 11 career playoff games now, just being at the right place in the right time. And that's what happens when you get bodies in front of the net, because Jack Campbell played well. He played well in game 1. Don't get me wrong. He played well in game 1 and he played well again tonight, but he's not Carey Price in game 1. Like, he's not like out of this world. Like, he's not that good. So if you get traffic in front, you get him uncomfortable, you'll be able to score on him. And that's how Kotkaniemi at the right place, right time, buried it on Jack Campbell there. So look, and that's to me, like, just each goal is so important. And yeah, okay, you have these games like with the crazy Panthers Lightning series, these 11 goal games and whatnot, but still, whenever you score first in the playoffs, you're now dictating the way the game goes. You have the other team on their heels, especially they just lost their captain. They just lost game 1, and now you score the first goal on them in their building in game 2. You have them on your heels. Keep them on their heels. But the Habs did not keep the Leafs on their heels in this one, because the Leafs answered right back with Jason Spezza, because of another instance of the Habs getting stuck in their zone, just with a clear chance to break out. Arturi Lehkonen on the backhand with open ice in front of him. Hello? If you can't skate out with it, just sure, you're on your backhand, but you know what? Flip it out of the zone. Ice the puck. I don't care. I don't care if you can't change on icing call. If there's no other play to get the puck out, if you've been on the ice for 90 seconds already, well, turning it over isn't going to get you off the ice any quicker, or it's not, at least not without giving up a goal. Sorry, it will get you off the ice quicker, but likely because you just gave up a goal against. And that's what happened. Lehkonen failed to get the puck out of the zone. Instead, he turned back towards the goal line, turned the puck over behind the net. Okay, the ref got in the way, but I don't care, because you have to get that puck out of the zone. Lehkonen turns it over behind the net. Puck bounces out to Jason Spezza, who literally made a beeline from the bench to the slot, buried it, tie game 1-1. The Habs just never recovered from that. I don't hate the way they played the rest of that first period, but that second period was the worst period by far of the series. Like, that was just an unacceptable second period by the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, leave a comment in the comment section. I got Matt Cowan here, my friend and usual Langer at the Mic post-game show listener or viewer here. By the way, of course, we're in our our temporary studio here in Montreal for the long weekend. I'm glad I was able to make it work a little bit better than I usually can in Montreal. But anyway, yeah, so Matt, frustrating game, didn't generate any momentum, didn't create many chances, weak discipline from players you'd want to see to be leaders. I'm over the we need experience to win argument. Get Caufield in, probably even Romanov. Cole has shown his ability to score and create chances out of nowhere. That's what the Habs need. So I'm going to get to all that, Matt, because I completely agree with you. You stole my lines right there. You stole exactly what I was going to talk about. So obviously the D-zone play, whatever, that's been an issue for the entire season. It was an issue in game 1, and it bit them here in game 2 in the first period on the Spezza goal. And then there's playing the rush also, because that Matthews goal was a case of what should have been a 3-on-3 with, I mean, Byron was playing as a defenseman, but also Deneau, I don't know if it was at the end of a long shift, but he could have done a better job back checking and made it a 3-on-3 instead of a 3-on-2, and eventually 2 2-on-1s that the Leafs created, because you had both Paul Byron and Shea Weber puck watching Justin Hull, who took the pass, I think, from Marner. And Justin Hull did the smart thing, pad pass off Carey Price's right pad. And because Shea Weber and Paul Byron were so focused on watching Justin Hull, they completely forgot about the Rocket Richard Trophy winner right in front, crashed in the net for a rebound, and they even have the opportunity to box him out. And Matthews, as soon as the puck landed on his stick, right off Price's pad, he wasn't going to make a mistake. He wasn't going to make the mistake there, and he just buried it. So right here, 2-1. But you know what? It's still 2-1 early in the second period. And here's where Matt Cowan, like you said, Indiscipline is just the fact the Habs took 6 penalties tonight. 5 while the game was relevant, but 6 penalties tonight, 4 penalties in game 1. And now the Leafs all of a sudden start maybe figuring out how to score on their power play. Because I don't care what the numbers say quantitatively with how bad the Leafs power play has been. You look at who they put on the ice for their power plays. And even if they don't score, they force you to play in your zone for 90 seconds to 2 minutes straight. They're going to ruin your momentum offensively and make you have to defend their power play for 2 minutes straight, multiple times a game, if you're not going to be disciplined. And the Habs tonight, like, just the penalties they took from their leaders, their captain and their assistant captain tonight took dumb retaliatory penalties that can't happen. Roger, same inconsistency. Roger Delaney in the comment section. Same inconsistency demonstrated all season, recurring this game. Refs missed a few calls against the Leafs. I mean, I'm not going to, again, I don't really care too much about the refs, because guess what? It's the playoffs. You get cross-checked. Deal with it. If it's a tight hockey game and you get cross-checked, or you think you got hit from behind, or you think you got tripped or whatever, who cares? Be smart, be disciplined, keep playing on, focus on playing defense, scoring goals, and doing what you should be doing instead of taking selfish, stupid penalties behind the play. Shea Weber, I don't care if Pierre Engvall cross-checked you and they didn't call it. I don't care. Don't cross-check him back. I don't care, Brendan Gallagher, if you feel like cross-checking. I don't know if it wasn't Justin Hall. I think it was it must have been, I don't know if it was Muzzin, maybe it was Sandin or Bogosian. I forget who was in front. But Brendan Gallagher, by the way, like, I know we love Brendan Gallagher. I'm wearing Brendan Gallagher's jersey tonight. Here. I'm wearing my number 11 tonight. But Brendan Gallagher, I'm sorry, has not been Brendan Gallagher in the series so far. I'm not too worried that he will not be, about him not becoming the Brendan Gallagher that we're used to seeing in the series. And I obviously can't understate what he means to this team off the ice and on the ice, but at least on the ice thus far. And I know he had the 2-month absence because of his injury, but at least, like, if you're not going to be all there from a physical and a cardio and, I guess, hockey standpoint during the play. By the way, he also had a really bad turnover to Matthews early in the second period, which almost led to a goal early in the second period. But don't take dumb penalties after the whistle. So, and Shea Weber, same thing. The captain. I don't care with what you can or cannot get away with. If it's a close hockey game and it's away from the play, don't cross-check Pierre Engvall. And as a team, the Montreal Canadiens, as a team, don't take 4+ penalties every single game against, whether it's the Leafs or the Jets or the Oilers or the Senators or the Flames or the Detroit Red Wings, or I don't care. Just, you can't afford to take 4 to 5 penalties in the playoffs against anyone. You can't. And now the Leafs, they scored 2 power play goals tonight. They scored 2 power play goals. Rasmus Sandin. And I don't care if maybe Carey Price could have stopped that. I don't care. You shouldn't be in the box for that. And the coach's challenge also was just, I don't know what the heck. Here's what. Okay. So I've talked about here on this podcast and on a couple of my previous shows, discussing, does Marc Bergevin influence Dominique Ducharme and his coaching decisions and his lineup changes? But what happened on that sequence where they cut to the press box of Marc Bergevin pointing at something? Oh, Joe Thornton maybe had his stick there, maybe had his stick in the way of Carey Price and challenge the play. You can't challenge the play based on one replay angle like that. You can't. When there's and that optimal replay angle of what you're trying to, try to get Thornton into call or trying to get the play reversed because you think Joe Thornton was called for goal interference, like that one upper angle which looks at Joe Thornton's stick is kind of in the way after you had to kill 3 penalties in a row at that point. Don't challenge that. Why challenge that? There was no point to that challenge. And if it did get overturned by some stupid reason, if it got overturned, then that would have been an awful, terrible call. And also, you want to talk about refs. Also, you want to talk about refs and what they're missing or calling, whatever. In game 1, Joel Edmondson cross-checked Zach Hyman after the whistle, didn't get called. Tonight, Zach Hyman held Brendan Gallagher. I think it was Brendan Gallagher in the first period there. I haven't looked at my notes once yet, which is quite impressive. But anyway, yeah. Late first period, it was... I think it was Brendan Gallagher. Hyman. Anyway, it was Hyman who got called for holding when he barely held Brendan Gallagher. Or no, it was Deneau. It was Philip Deneau. So Hyman barely held Philip Deneau, but he still got called for it. And I was thinking right away at Mike Langer, I'm tweeting this again, give me a follow at Mike Langer, that it was a terrible call. So yeah, so just be smart, focus on doing your job, on playing hard and skating and forechecking and defending and everything that you're supposed to be doing instead of retribution. Who cares? If anything, the Leafs had more reason to play the retribution game tonight, playing for their captain. The Leafs had more reason to retaliate and play that retribution game. And they could have if you get them down not just 1 goal, but 2 goals and maybe 3 goals and get them off their game that way, instead of allowing them to get you off your game and then falling behind in the second period alone. And yeah, like I was saying with Marc Bergevin, I'm wondering, does Marc Bergevin influence Dominique Ducharme's coaching decisions? And if that's the case, I personally have been a supporter of Bergevin. He went, like, him and Jeff Molson have gone through hell and back. And yeah, it seems desperate. Maybe, okay, you can say that when you're down 3-1, a difference between 3-1 and 2-1 is a huge difference in a playoff game. Sure, especially when you're struggling to score goals, which bring in Cole Caufield. And I also want to add, I forgot to mention my comment question for this video. It was, who do you scratch for Cole Caufield? Who are you taking out of the lineup for Cole Caufield? Leave that in the comment section here, either live or after the fact. And for me personally, it's either Armia or Tatar, because Tatar is a decent forechecker. Tatar on that line with Deneau and Gallagher does a decent job forechecking. But other than like that kind of one instance where he had a decent forecheck and he had a chance, like a clear scoring opportunity where he got in the right position, right place, right time, had all the time in the world to also take a good quality shot on net. But what did he do? He put it wide left. He put it wide to Campbell's glove side. Didn't even hit the net. And we've seen Caufield fan on and miss shots like that. But again, whose mistakes would you rather be living with? Tom, would you rather be living with Cole Caufield, who's going to be in this organization for hopefully years to come? Or do you want to live with the mistakes of Thomas Tatar, who's an unrestricted free agent after this year, or after possibly this series if the Habs don't get their crap together? Whose mistakes would you rather live with? Like Matt Cowan saying in the comments there, Armia, Lehkonen, Tatar. Armia, through 6 periods of this series, other than that one good play pushing the puck forward to Paul Byron, hasn't done much. He really hasn't. Armia, Lehkonen, Tatar. Lehkonen also for that turnover. I've been a guy, like, honestly, I don't know if you want to call me a Lehkonen hater or what, but just to me, Lehkonen does good things, and he had a lot of hits in game 1. He had, I think, a good amount of hits tonight also. What was it? Let me just pull it out. He had 4 hits tonight. Okay. But on a team that struggles to score goals, on a team that that your goal scorers, your skill players aren't the biggest guys, and Lehkonen being a smaller guy, like I would not. I would take him out for a Cole Caufield. I would consider it. I would strongly consider it. So, and Eric Stahl is another guy. Because Eric Stahl was really good in game 1, and he had a couple of moments where he looked like he had an extra pep in his step tonight, but overall, he didn't do enough to warrant a spot in the lineup, and especially the power play. Oh my God, I haven't even mentioned the power play yet. I've been rambling on for 60 minutes here, and I haven't even mentioned the Habs power play. Oh boy, man. Eric Stahl, by the way, tonight, what was it? 12 minutes, -1, no goals, no assists, no shots, and one hit, which I remember. It was one hit in the first period. And he's the guy that you put out there on your first power play unit with Weber, Anderson, Suzuki, and Toffoli. And again, you go 0 for 1. They only had one power play because they were probably just gassed from killing penalty after penalty after penalty. But 0 for 5 in game 1 and 0 for 1 tonight, so 0 for 6 in the series, has to be better. Because what if the Habs score on that power play in the first period? What if the Habs score? I mean, it didn't really make a difference in game 1, luckily. But if the Habs score on that power play in the first period, we're talking about a different hockey game here potentially. Sure, the Leafs have the star power to come back from a 2-1 deficit. Yeah, I think it would have been 2-1 at that point. But we could be talking about a different hockey game here. So, but what bothers me is with that first unit, and I'll get your comments in a second there, Alex, is the first unit you have Weber, Suzuki, Anderson, Toffoli, and who's the other guy? Stahl. So the problem with those 5 guys is that the guys that that have skill can't skate, and the guys that can skate have no skill. So Josh Anderson being the guy that can skate, okay, he's a big presence in front. Okay, when he has time and space, he can let his shot rip, which doesn't always hit the net, but when it hits the net, it could go in like on Campbell in game 1, right? But Josh Anderson, I hate to break it, I mentioned this on my intermission show, check it out at Mike Langer on Twitter, he is the worst passer of the puck on the team. He is the worst passer of the puck on the team. So Josh Anderson, you need guys that could feed him the puck, but the problem is the guys that are with him on the ice are guys that can't skate. The skill guys with him on the ice can't skate. Weber, not the best skater. Stahl, not the best skater. He's been skating harder in the series thus far, but not the best skater. And who is it? Also, Toffoli, great skill, great shot, smart player, not the best skater. And that first power play unit is inferior to the Kotkaniemi, Tatar, Gallagher, Perry, Petrie unit, but they started off that first unit, not the second one, not the better one. So anyway, so Alex, yes, Habs can't even make one skilled back pass when they have puck battles like the Leafs do, and when Habs want to cry about referee interference. Like, look, again, that just comes down to discipline. Just be disciplined, play smart playoff hockey, and guys, you're gonna go with a veteran lineup. Dominique Ducharme, you want your veteran lineup? Okay. Mazel tov. Congratulations. It worked for you in game 1, but now it did not work for you in game 2. You have 3 goals scored through 6 periods of playoff hockey thus far, and the Leafs put a 5 spot on the scoreboard tonight. Make changes to your lineup in game 2. Make those changes. You have game 3. You have the last change now. No excuse to not make changes anymore. And Leafs always pass on the boards to open ice, and off the races they go. I mean, look, the Habs, to their credit, they did that in game 1. The Habs did a great job in skating and getting, and they did a better job. They still had instances of struggling to get pucks out. And to me, like, so many people have been calling for puck moving defensemen on this team, but to me, it's also on the forwards, like in Lehkonen's situation, to get the pucks out, to help the defensemen. Like, you can't just put it all on the defenseman to get the puck out. It's also on the forwards. It's also on Nick Suzuki here. Perfect example in the first period. And at the end of the first period, Nick Suzuki has a chance is skating towards to exit the zone, skating from the half wall up ice to exit the zone. But he stops at the blue line. Just stops at the blue line. Why? Get the puck out. And surely enough, Matthews intercepted it or Marner intercepted it, and it led to a chance the other way, which could have been a lot worse, and the Habs survived or nothing much else happened, but it could have very well ended up being a scoring chance to the Leafs. Get the puck out of your zone. Josh Anderson, another no-show, mamma mia. Josh Anderson was good early tonight. Look, he got the first shift, and he had a big hit on, I think it was Riley, on his very first shift. But other than that, Josh Anderson, he had a couple of decent chances later in the game, I guess in garbage time at that point, but he still had 3 hits and 2 shots and a block shot or 2 block shots in 16 minutes of ice time. So I didn't hate Josh Anderson's game tonight, but he definitely wasn't as effective as he was in game 1. Justin Mellon, hey Mike, just tuned in. Not sure if you covered this, but what did you think about Price tonight? I honestly thought he had a really good game. Don't think he can be blamed for any of the goals. Him and Campbell are not the reason for either of their losses, in my opinion. Great goalie battles. So I actually didn't really talk too much about Price yet. Obviously, he wasn't as effective as he was in game 1, but he still played really well. He still made a lot of saves. I feel like the issue for Price tonight, though, was his rebound control. Price controlling rebounds tonight wasn't as money as he was in game 1. Game 1, pucks were sticking to him, no rebounds. And this one, early on, there was a couple of rebounds that got away from him. On the Matthews goal, I can't really blame him for that because that's like a perfectly executed pad pass by Justin Hall. And also the Sandin goal, you can say that was a clear shot from the point that maybe Price should have. But again, I don't care because you should also not take 5 penalties a game against anyone, never mind the Toronto Maple Leafs. And like I've been saying, is as Justin's saying, to coincide with what I have been saying, is that the 4 goaltenders in this series between Price, Campbell, Allen, Anderson, all these 4 goalies are good enough to not be the reason why their team loses. And so far through 2 games, if anything, Price was the reason why the Habs won game 1, but Campbell wasn't the reason why the Leafs won game 1, and Price wasn't the reason why the Habs lost game 2. So again, it comes down to the Habs having to play better defense and the Leafs doing what they're supposed to be doing. So anyway, as usual, look, just keep up with the comment question of this post-game show. We haven't really had that in these post-game shows, but for today is who gets scratched for Cole Caufield in game 3, because you'd like to think he'd get into the lineup in game 3, right? I mean, oh boy, like 3 goals only through two games of hockey against the Toronto Maple Leafs, through two playoff games against the Toronto Maple Leafs is not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. And the Price again, he'll play well like he did tonight. He could play like he did tonight, but you know, he's not going to play like he did on Thursday every single game every night. So another big issue, you know what? Jake Evans out tonight. I think they felt his absence. I really do, because the Leafs were 66% in the faceoff circle tonight. 66%, not 56, 66%. So that's another thing. When you're chasing the puck all the time, you're not, you're starting from behind. You're playing from behind. That doesn't help. That obviously doesn't help. And I'm curious to see what the other guys were. Kotkaniemi over the course of the middle part of the season has been better on faceoffs. Curious to see what he was tonight. Just dodging all the ads here. Kotkaniemi was 6 for 11, so he wasn't the issue on faceoffs. Who else? Let's see. Deneau. What was Deneau? One of your leaders, one of your good faceoff guys. What was he? Oh, guess what? Philip Deneau, 6 for 21 in the faceoff circle. 6 for 21 in the faceoff circle. A guy who is your veteran center, your veteran number 1 center, who is counted on to win faceoffs, who has been a guy that is 53% in the faceoff circle over the past seasons until this year, is 6 for 21 in the faceoff circle. Unacceptable. Nick Suzuki historically struggles in the faceoff circle. 3 for 13 in the faceoff circle tonight. Nick Suzuki. Not good. But at least you can expect Suzuki to not be great because he's been struggling all year in the faceoff circle. But no, that is unacceptable. Eric Stahl. What was Eric Stahl? 2 for 6 in the faceoff circle. Oh boy, 2 for 6. So from that standpoint, Jake Evans, who was really good in the faceoffs in game 1, that absence was felt tonight. That absence was felt tonight for sure. So I'm honestly hoping that Jake Evans hopefully can get back into the series. Hopefully as soon as maybe not game 3, but maybe the second of the back-to-back in game 4. Noah Siegel-London. If any winger needs to be scratched for Caufield, right or left, it should be Lehkonen. And again, I wouldn't hate that. I honestly wouldn't hate that. Or again, maybe Eric Stahl. Although then again, you run into the issue of who are your 4 centers if you take out Eric Stahl. So if you're talking about a winger, like I said, I'd say the big 3 or the not as big 3 or the big 3 candidates of Lehkonen, Armia, and Thomas Tatar. So yeah, Stahl needs to get out. But the issue with Stahl now is that if Evans is hurt, who's going to be your 4th line center? So now here's where Eric Stahl is actually kind of important, because if Jake Evans is not healthy, or if he's not good to go, well, you kind of need Eric Stahl as at least a 4th line center. And we've seen what happens when Paul Byron is the 4th line center. Yeah, just honestly, that's pretty much it. I think I covered it all here. You could continue throwing in your comments in the comment section. Give me a big thumbs up on this video as usual. I just wanted to throw in real quick, take a quick look at the defenseman. I didn't hate the way the defenseman played tonight, honestly. I feel like Petrie, in a game where you lose 5-1, Petrie was a +1. Joel Edmondson was even, so I like the way they played tonight. 22 minutes for Edmondson, 22 minutes Petrie. Weber, like I said, not great. Merrill, I actually didn't hate the way Merrill played, although he was a -1 playing with Weber, of course. Kulak, 14 minutes, -1. Sherratt, I didn't like Sherratt's game tonight. He played 21 minutes, but I didn't really like his game tonight. I feel like too many times we've seen the bad Sherratt and not the good Sherratt, where he's just trying to do too much and just kind of overcomplicates things for himself and, turns the puck over or skates himself out of position. Whereas in game 1, I feel like he just kept things pretty steady and simple, like Weber. So I didn't like Sherratt's game tonight as well. And Theo, refs versus Habs. Hey, Theo, I already mentioned this, but all due respect, man, I don't care about the refs, because I care about the Habs playing undisciplined and dumb hockey and retaliating after penalties. Like, I don't care. Like in game 1, where Matthews maybe hit Ben Sherratt from behind, but I don't care, because Ben Sherratt got called for punching Matthews in the face and retaliating. And yeah, Matthews, do smile at the camera like that. Troll the Habs all they want for being disciplined. He's just doing what he's supposed to be doing. So from that standpoint, again, just be better and be more disciplined. I don't care what the refs are going to call and not call. Play smart, disciplined, playoff hockey. Weber, I wouldn't say Weber was lazy, Theo. I would just say he was just he's just not the best skater. He never really was a great skater, and all the more reason at 36 years old, he's not that great of a skater anyway. And yeah, Noah Siegel-London in the comments, if Ryan Poehling, that injury now also sucks, because if Ryan Poehling was available for this series, now would be a time to consider putting him in for Eric Stahl. And he scored what? Like the hat trick against the Leafs in that 2019 finale a couple of years ago, and the shootout winner. I mean, you don't have the shootouts in the playoffs, but Ryan Poehling, with how great of a season he had in Laval, would have been a great opportunity for him to get playoff action tonight. Matt Cowan, really want to see the young players get chances, let them play and learn under pressure. I mean, look, if this series gets out of hand, then yeah, might as well. Can't blame the refs. I agree. Yeah, Theo, like I said, just play better, play more discipline. And with that being said, that's where I'm going to end the show tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. As usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel here at Langer at the Mic. Give me a follow at Mike Langer on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, because on Twitter, I've been going live on Twitter for intermission shows at Mike Langer, because, just want to provide Habs, give the people what they want, provide Habs coverage, Habs exclusive coverage at the intermissions. So instead of Leafs exclusive coverage, but yeah, just give me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike Langer. And thank you so much for joining me on this Langer at the Mic Game 2 Habs-Leafs post-game show. Look forward to seeing you again next time at the end of Game 3 and at the intermission of Game 3. Have a good night and a great long weekend.